Hello everyone, this is Bigalski,
And this is GTB.
and these are the dual clones, Battlefield of the Abyss Phase 5 for my Ninja Gaiden Black quest for 50 million. I'm getting pretty close, and one of the things JTB and I talked about this the other day, because I was kind of struggling with it and I was crying on his shoulder, was you would think this would be a lot easier on paper. You know, just wall jump with the Dark Dragon Blade and then just run around the corners and charge up UTs. And trust me, it is not like that at all. These guys are brutal.
I think this should have been a fight in the game on Master Ninja, personally.
Oh, man. Well,
I can say that now. I probably wouldn't have said that 15 years ago, but I think it would have been cool if they actually gave you like a dual clone fight in story mode. That would be fun. You'd have the UF there, so it'd have been okay.
Well, yeah, that would be great. One thing that you can jump on some of the other columns and kind of do the same thing, but this is just a lot more consistent. But you want to put the tranquility on, and see, this is where you really got to know what you're doing in terms of, I always kind of push forward. You'll see me rolling forward sometimes because I don't want to jump outside of like I just did again right there. But movement on this, the camera control, because the camera can really turn on you while you're doing that, so you got to struggle with that. You've got to listen to the sounds for the guy to know when to come down with your Y. Because I've had it where I've done like not 20 minutes, like 120 seconds. Look how far that goes.
Ooh.
And so it's like, man, what's going on here? And anyway, where you don't do any damage to them at all.
Yeah, that's one thing to note. I've gone over this in some of the speedrun streams. I've talked about it. You really have to know if the clone is sort of mid-string.
Running. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I say if the clone is mid-string, you want to try for the instant wall attack where you just touch the wall and press Y or X. It's the same thing. Whereas if the clone is sort of jumping or running on a wall, you want to do the bird flip wall attack, so you get that like huge, ground pound effect on the attack.
Look at that! I'm telling you, it's like a drunk driver. Me trying to run, it's like I start losing control and I overcompensate, and that really hurts me a lot.
Also, look how accurate they are with their projectiles.
Right, and you're not.
Yeah, and yet Ryu is on his moonshine bender, like just aiming at the wall. Like, why can't we have the clones aim? Like, look at that.
Yeah.
Like,
well, one thing going back to the beginning of why I put the tranquility on is because if you put the sun on and do wall jumps, then you're going to actually end up killing him instead of getting just that last bit of help. So having the tranquility on helps you kind of see. I'm surprised that missed, but anyway, having the tranquility on, helps you. God, they're so accurate.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, this is, man, thank God clones weren't in NG2.
Oh yeah, wow.
Can you imagine? Like, just
see, there I go again. I'm telling you, I've said it so many times with people watching this, work on your movement so you're not anywhere as bad as me. Because if you don't kill that clone, and you definitely want to kill the flail clone versus the lunar clone, because the flail clone can flying swallow you, it seems like, from halfway across the place.
Yeah, his Red Hot Iron Brand has got way more range than yours. That's one thing about the clones that's kind of irritating. Say their windmill shuriken just feels like it has way more range than yours. And it recovers way faster. If you stand in open space and just kind of see how fast like they can throw like a back-to-back windmill shuriken, it's way faster than you can.
Well, if you see one, you're going to see another one. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Now, going back to the clone, you definitely want to ET the clone and absorb the essence, but not with the benediction, because that'll break the multiplier that they've talked about before. See, there's one of my whiffs. Mm-hmm. That I was talking about, and then there's one of my bad flips, and then how do I get in here? It's like, come on. I'm driving myself crazy here while I'm playing it, because I'm looking at my health, and it's like, am I doing the right thing and going the right direction? But Like,
yeah, look at that range.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. That was what, like 4 columns, I think?
Yeah.
Like 4 columns of distance, like that got you from.
So if you don't kill the clone with the ET, you might as well start over if you're going for score, because it's worth 60,000 points, and then the essence is worth 2 times the value at the end, and then with the multiplier, it's another 2.5. So basically 5 times. So
yeah, it's 300,000 points,
Yeah.
like end game total is that essence, and that's something that's over the last
look, there I
year and
did
a
it
bit.
again. And
Well,
and what I want to say is,
yeah.
you have to land with the Y, because if you just land and to try not to do any damage with him, be prepared to be guillotine throwed.
Yeah, or he'll just hit you off the wall, pretty much.
Yeah. So anyway,
But yeah, the essence part is something that over the last year and a bit, with mission mode kind of getting a bit of a renaissance in a way. A lot of that was just kind of people really pushing the essence part of scoring, because essence is worth so many points in mission mode when you play. If you play on Master Ninja and you're UTing a lot, if you really kind of manipulate and control the enemies to where you can collect all the money, or at least a decent chunk of the money. That's where a lot of these kind of new records came from, was just much better essence management in mission mode.
but he can on-landing jump. I mean, you can on-landing jump too, but I can't on-landing jump. So I'm at a disadvantage right there. And I'm just, like I said, I think I released here, and okay, I did get one. I whiff again coming up. So, but just remember to go back and forth with your tranquility and everything. I think here, do I forget to put it back on? Yeah, see?
Yeah, and here as well,
look at the damage.
Oh wow, man! Yeah, that was like probably 2, maybe 3 UTs worth of damage there.
Yeah. Now you can release a little early from that column and try to hopefully do as little damage as you can. But if you whiff, at this point, once I kill the clone and got the ET, it's like, okay, if I get an ET on the clone and collected the essence, it's like, look, if I get a ET here and there, I'm not going to worry about it. I just want to finish the mission, because I know 300,000 of my score is going to be my essence. God, look at that.
I think he tries to look at the aim on that.
Yeah.
just. Oh
Now,
man.
The good thing about some of these patterns, when you know that they throw a shuriken, they have to kind of recover an exploding shuriken, so it's going to take them a while. Or if they light the Nimpo, that's the reason I don't think I switched back over. Yes, look at that.
Ooh,
I know. So there's the other one. So now I get turned around because of the camera. But again, once you kind of know their patterns and know that they're in recovery frames, if I could have my movement better and jump straight to the side instead of having to roll into this, I mean, all that stuff adds up.
Mm-hmm.
So I think working on the movement, understanding, there I go again.
Ooh, yeah, see, that's what I mean. Like, sometimes
There I
they
go
can clip you, coming off.
It's so bad. It's so bad. I try, but like I said, I start to panic,
You say that, but I mean, man, with 2 other variables, this could have been a new high score.
Yeah, I get, and this kills him. I mean, this doesn't have to always kill him. All of those didn't have to connect.
If you'd have got one more UT and the 2 UTs that you missed, that would have been the record.
Yeah. So that is kind of crazy whenever you think about it.
Yep. Say that end game multiplier, it can haunt you, because you look at that and you think, oh, that was really, really good, and then you think, oh, if I'd have just got that one thing, it would have been a record.
So I usually don't put the bloopers in here, but I did want to put 2. So this is us sat down yesterday and I said, okay, let me play. And this whole load screen from whenever you start to when you can actually finally start to play, it's like 30 seconds. And I mean, it's just like, oh my God, it takes so long to load. But this is my very first when I sat down to play, and this is what happened to me. So I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and switch over. So you can do that now, or you can do it later, whatever you feel most comfortable with. I jump on his head, so I get past him. So I'm like, okay, well look, there's the shuriken. I'm like, oh crap, let me get. And I mean, It's like, okay. I mean, that was my very first one. I said, okay, well, let me try it again. Let me jump to the other side.
And that was so coordinated too. I mean, for anyone watching, like, watch that in slow motion. Like, the incendiary gets you out the air, he windmill shurikens you to forces you to block, then he red hot iron brands you, then there's another incendiary quote, and then he hits you off the wall with the in-air Y. Like,
oh, look at this. Ugh. So that was, yeah, like you said, it's coordination. It's amazing. So having said all that, you know, I did get a great score. I mean, it sounds like I'm bitching and still got a great score, but you hate to say it could have been better, but it could have. I mean, people can see that, and that's the part that gets a little frustrating. Out of my average of all the players that I've used, I actually scored the highest of all of them. So I think the time helped me a lot, and then versus some of the other players, and of course getting that UT'd essence. But when you start jumping up at the very beginning and wall jumping down or wall attacking down, however you want to say it, you really got to watch where the shurikens are, because when they blow up and they push you into the wall, it does a ton of damage.
Yeah, they do.
Listening to the clone whenever he yaws, no matter where you are, you know you want to come down with Y. You're not always going to be able to see him. Having that camera control, like I talked about a little bit earlier, while you're flipping up and constantly kind of moving it to keep it centered. I mean, that is so key in this mission, because if you start getting a little bit funny, then the clones will actually switch places.
That's true, they will. Sometimes they can if you get the flail clone down to really low health, and depending on how you hit him, if you kind of hit him like at the peak of the kind of the tip of the Dark Dragon Blade, you can knock him far enough back where like the lunar clone will just kind of swap places anyway. Like he'll just take over, because they won't really. It's weird when they're both on screen, they don't work quite as well. Like, but when one is off screen and the other one is on screen, they're very, very coordinated.
Right, and you might be able to get away with one of the, you know, maybe one wall jump down on the lunar clone and not be the end of the world. But you actually, so you've got to figure out, okay, how do I get them in the right order? And you can run to the other side and start going around the corner. But what I found is that, like JTB was saying, you know, if they're at lower health, it's like the lunar clone wants to come up.
Yeah. And
so you want to try to get an ET. Well, you don't know until the end which one's going to come up. I've had the damn things jump over my Dobby ET before.
That's the worst.
Oh yeah. Trust me, I could put bloopers on all this stuff, and this time that we're talking, I could actually add some of my bloopers from this whole clip that I did. I'm not going to do it because it's a lot of work, but you can, trust me, I think with all the movement and everything that you've seen and how the flail clone works, you definitely want to ET him and get him off the screen. But if they get separated, and then all of a sudden you have to start running back and forth to try to ET the clone, and if you sit there and kind of hesitate for a second to see what they're going to do, then all of a sudden you get your guard broke from a shuriken off screen, and then Red Hot Firebrand? Hot Firebrand?
Red Hot Iron Brand
is
the flying swallow with the flails.
And I can't tell you how many times I've started over. So when you think about it, like we said at the beginning, oh, on paper, okay, let me just wall jump, you know, kill the guy.
Get my ET, get my essence, and then it's GG's.
And then just run back and forth.
And also, don't underestimate just how fast the lunar clone can kill you.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if he lands one full string on you, you're pretty much dead. And that's another thing, too. Like, his lunar just seems like it has more range than when you have it.
Well, it's funny because one time, and I cut it off, and I wish I shouldn't have done it. You know, when I see that I'm messing up, I'll just reset. And then after that, I realized what I could have had on video. But I was going to try to get into the door next to the peristyle passage, you know, coming in from the aqueduct. Mm-hmm. And as he was coming up to me, I was going to try to X+A to jump on his head. Well, when I hit the X+A to target him, he actually jumped towards me at the same time, So he was able to do the X, Y into the Azuna drop.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That can also happen. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was like, 80% of my health right when it was happening, and I just shut it off. And I said, yeah, man, I wish I'd kept that on video. I think I would do better making failed attempts than doing some of those. The videos would definitely be longer, but this one's a lot more complicated versus, the tanks. The tanks are, they're hard on paper. CG,
oh, yeah.
Got you 5 or CG1. They're hard on paper. And this one seems easy on paper. But I might say, if you compare on paper versus reality, this might be the toughest mission that I can think of offhand.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd say, especially for score, like, it is very, very difficult to just manipulate these guys. Like, they're very, very aggressive, and they're super fast. It's hard to keep up.
Well, they're on-landing jumps. Like I said, if you can do that, I'll link Kel's video in there just because his movement is so good, and he does have the highest score. Now, when he would get around the corner, he would release a little bit earlier than I would in order to try to get less hits, UT'd hits on the clone. So it actually took him a little bit longer, but his movement is so clean and crisp. So please, for any new players that are watching this, or even seasoned players, I should take my own advice. It's hard to. I've tried. But watch JTB, watch Godfather, watch Kel, watch their movement. JTB has an awesome movement tutorial. Maybe I'll find that and link that in the video too. Because being able to on-landing jump, roll away, jump another, knowing where you're going to land, not losing control, and landing in between the pillars. I'm still like, how was I running straight and landing between two pillars when I thought I was going straight? So, I think that any other thing you wanted to add to this?
No. I'd say this is just one of those missions. It is a tough one to crack, but it's a lot of points. That essence alone is 300,000. So
yeah, I think that's the key. I don't think I guess if you decide you don't want to go for the points, just wall jump and kill like the flail clone if you're not going to worry about that. But you will be able to collect his essence with the benediction, since it's only worth 20,000 points.
Yeah, that's true.
And because if you kill him with a UT, this always goes over a lot longer than we thought it was going to. But if you kill him with a UT, and that's, what is it, 140,000?
It's 7 times, yeah. 7 times multiplier on the UT.
Yeah, so because of, I think, what is it, 65,000 and something.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact number.
But I did that the other day. I ended up getting a UT kill on the flail clone, and I looked at the essence, and it was worth like 8,200 points. And it was just like, okay, start over.
Yep.
It would be easier for people to just, kill them, collect that, and then take that versus trying to kill them or killing them with a UT. Save your UT and save your sanity.
Yeah, I was going to say sanity, yeah.
Don't kill them with the just wall jump and collect it with the benediction. But if you really want to get your score increased, it's hard to think that one kill in this game is worth 300,000 points.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, actually. Yeah, it's kind of that is kind of insane, when you think about it like that.
Right. Okay, guys. Well, that's it. I start on my Giants of the Underworld row. I have a couple of Marvis missions to farm. I think I probably won't do Got You 4 or 5. I think I've talked about that before. But if I can have an okay Got You 1 and an average, just make my average on Got You 2 and 3, that should put me at 50 million without having to do Eternal Legend. But I still think I have to complete the Eternal Legend. So
yeah, Eternal Legend is kind of it's the crown. You know, it's the crown on top of everything.
I'm fine with being the Joker. I don't need the crown. But okay, guys, I hope everybody enjoyed it. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Take care, everybody.